Here's how I throw a big wide countertop bowl like this from start to finish. You definitely want to throw this on a bat. Go ahead and dampen your bat if you're using a masonite one like this one, and smack that clay a little bit more centered before you get started. That's going to help control that clay. Now this is 5 pounds of clay. I always start centering with a bit of downward pressure, and then I'm going to go ahead and start moving that clay upward. But I'm still focusing on the top to get it under control before I can get that bottom really under control. I'm going to add more pressure down at the bottom and then even out my pressure as I come up to the top and lean forward as I push that clay down. That's going to help avoid a very severe mushroom shape. And you can see there's still quite a bit of wobble down at the bottom. What I'm going to do is not worry too much about making this perfect on that first or second cone. Normally, when I'm coning and centering less clay, I will only do that process twice. When I'm working with more clay like this, I will tend to do it 3 times. You'll notice each time I'm bringing that clay up, I'm working to get more clay from the bottom and stabilize it, and then I'm really trying to just kind of center the top and bring it down pretty calmly. Now this is at a 3 times speed. This whole video is at 3 times speed, so kind of keep that in mind that this process is not super fast. The benefit of coning up and down with this much clay is that you're really massaging that clay. Now this is reclaimed, so it does need a little bit more assistance here, and it's going to smooth things out and make this whole thing more even. And I do tend to spend a little bit more time getting this very well centered when it's a large mound of clay versus maybe like a pound or 2, because once you pull this thing wider, any inconsistencies or unevenness are going to be much, much, much more obvious. I made that mound pretty darn wide. It could have actually gone wider, and you'll notice later I do end up pulling the base a little bit wider than that. And I'm going to go ahead and calm down that rim as I'm opening it. Sometimes I get that kind of funky shape, and just go ahead and calm that down with your sponge. And I do like to open this with a sponge. It makes it a lot easier. I don't need to worry about the hydration on my hands as much or anything sticking. And you'll notice I just kind of calm that shape down on the outside and evened it out. This is where I ended up pushing it a little bit wider than I had originally set that mound. I don't normally recommend that, but it's not a big deal. Okay, this first pull, we're really just moving that clay up. And then notice I'm always going to compress the rim. I did get a little bit of extra clay kind of moving around there, so I tried to smooth that out. With this next pull, I'm really evening out the clay and kind of feeling it between my hands, pulling it up and just a little bit out. This third pull is really going to be my final pull, so just clean things up a little bit, get some hydration on the inside of the wall, and go ahead and pull that up and out. I use the bat as a bit of a visual guide. This is a 14-inch bat. I ended up pulling this bowl to about 13.5. If you are pulling a big wide bowl, it is really helpful to have a wider bat for that. And I smoothed out the inside with a rib and the rim compressed with a broccoli rubber band. Tap follow and go ahead and share this video if you think it would help someone else.